So we're leaving Arlington, Massachusetts, headed to Saco, Maine for the month of October. But along the way, we're going to stop at a couple places to see some things. And the first place is the Saugus, Massachusetts Iron Works, which was built in the very early 1600s, was the first iron works of any kind in the United States. Shut down many years later. Then it was bought by a guy who just wanted to live in the house that was there, and he restored it to what he thought it would look like in the 1600s, and that's how it appears today. But everything's closed today, so we're going to do a self-guided tour around the iron works and see what is there. Here in the forge building, one of the things that was pretty amazing to us is the scale of some of this stuff. Right above my head is just this beam that holds up part of the building, and it's just humongous. I don't know if you can see the scale with my hand there, but this is just one solid piece of wood from whatever tree they cut down to make it. And then down here is a trip hammer, or whatever they call it, some sort of hammer that sits on top of an anvil, that sits on top of an oak, not post, but an oak trunk that they would put into the ground. There's actually about 6 feet of this oak piece down beneath the ground. They'd sit the anvil up here, and then this 500-pound hammer would raise and lower and would flatten bars of steel or shape it however they needed to. And these things took such abuse during the operation of the forge that the hammerhead and the anvil would have to be replaced about 6 times a year. So then we're next door in the rolling and slitting mill, and this huge water wheel here would turn this apparatus right here. You'd feed a bar of molten iron in there, and it would roll it out flat. Or after that, or you could just do it with cold, you would feed it into this slitting wheel. If I can, where's the slitting wheel? Anyway, you'd feed it into the slitting wheel right here, and it would cut the bar into these little rods like this, which they would then use primarily to make nails. That was a pretty cool site to visit. It was kind of small, one of the smaller national historic sites we visited, but it was very interesting to learn about all the effort and the work that it took to make iron bars that could then be turned into stuff we take for granted because, you know, it's so easy for us with the technology we have. But that was pretty interesting. So now we are heading to Gloucester, Massachusetts. Yes, that Gloucester, with the Gloucester Fisherman, with the whole fisherman statue thing. And I think we're going to stop there and get something to eat for lunch, maybe some seafood, and hopefully find that statue. So we've only been in Gloucester for a few minutes, and it's hard to see, but there's a red roof behind me. That's the visitor center, where we kind of came down the hill to this huge rock behind me. But there's a lady in the visitor center who knew 3 of the crew members of the Andrea Gale, the ship that's portrayed the true story in the Perfect Storm movie. Captain Billy, the captain of the ship, she went to high school with him. Another one of the crew members, she was a neighbor of his, and then the third member of the crew, she was friends of family. Their family were friends with each other. So we walked down the hill from the visitor center. That was kind of cool to talk to her about the day that the Andrea Gale was missing, and went down in the water and how it affected the town. And we walked down the hill from the visitor center and came up on this huge rock. And it's hard to read probably behind me, but it was on this site in 1623 that a band of fishermen basically founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And ever since that year, these lands, this seaport, has been used for fishing continuously. Right behind me is the Fisherman's Memorial here on the Gloucester waterfront, and behind him, or in front of him, are plaques with the names of every fisherman who has been lost at sea that left from this port. And on one of the markers there is the crew of the Andrea Gale, the ship in the movie Perfect Storm. We made it to Rockport, Massachusetts, a very quaint town. Kim was here a few years ago, over July 4th, with the Harrises to do the Arab Vacation Bible School in Danvers, Massachusetts. But they came down here for a day to hit the beach and walk through the town. So we're going to find us something to eat and then some ice cream. Well, the ice cream store is closed, so no ice cream from here, but I will get my ice cream. Instead, we have a 7-layer bar next door from the cafe. Not as good.